What's going on, YouTube? I'm Kramer the Watch Guy. Great to be back. If you're new here, we were taking $5,000, turning it into $100,000 just by flipping watches. Things have changed. We'll get to it in another video, but today I want to talk about this. The Omega Seamaster 300 James Bond 007 edition. In my opinion, this could be the best watch to come out in the last 10 years, and now we're going to talk about it. Let's begin. I want to start off with a quick little unboxing. So when you first get the watch, depending on the dealer you go to, I got this from an Omega boutique in New Jersey, but depending on the boutique or AD you go to, you're going to get a few different things. So first, you're going to get the watch in this nice plastic case that pretty much all watches come in these days. Then you're going to get the actual box, which is right here. We'll open this in a second. And then because I went to the AD, I got a couple of extras. By AD, I mean the actual Omega boutique. They gave me this cool keychain that actually comes on the Milanese bracelet, which we'll talk about later, but this is an actual titanium keychain, which is sweet. It's exactly like the bracelet. Super cool. Gotta believe that's not cheap. Then my AD, because I got both straps, again we'll get to that later, they gave me this strap case, which is pretty cool. Let me wedge it between my knees so I can actually open the thing on camera. This thing is pretty cool. Comes with this tool to change bands, and then, you know, you can put a band in here, use it as a travel case. 4 straps. You can't put a watch in here, but 4 straps. This thing is sweet. Zip that back up. Get it back in there. So that's pretty cool. You know, when you actually go to the Omega boutique, they really hook it up. It's pretty sweet. Even though, you know, if you went somewhere else, you probably saw, you know, this is over a $9,000 watch, MSRP. You could go to a lot of boutiques or even online and get this watch for $7 grand these days, maybe $7,500 brand new, but we won't get into that now. This watch was a gift from my wife. We went to the boutique together. It was very nice of her. Then they gave me this. This is a travel case for your watch, which again, let me just open that. So the watch can go in here and you can travel, and you don't have to worry about it getting all messed up. You kind of put it in here, strap it in, and you're good to go. This top flap covers it. It makes it good for, you know, air travel or throwing it in a suitcase or carry-on. Not that you probably would do that for a near $10,000 watch, but if you wanted to, you could. But we're going to talk about these two later. You don't get these, but we'll talk about this later. But now let's open the box. Let's see what you actually get in this nice box. So it's double boxed. It opens like this. Then take it out. It's a really cool, sleek design. Open that up nice and slow. Here's my receipt. And then we'll open this guy up like this. And then boom, you get this awesome 007 inspired pouch. In the back, you get the warranty cards. Always pretty cool. And then when you can also use this thing for travel as well, but you know, this is more of something you kind of just keep, I guess. But then when you open it up, you know, you can put the watch in there, strap changing tool in there, and then it has a pocket here for some other stuff as well. Just a pretty cool design overall. They really did a great job with the packaging design of this particular watch, and I know Daniel Craig was heavily involved in that, and he's a pretty fashionable guy, so you know, nice to have him involved in the process. Then if you take this out, you get your instructions here. Very thick thick book, but you know, so that's the box. That's the unboxing of this watch. And now I want to kind of talk about what actually makes this thing so great. Why is this such an unbelievable watch? Even though it's 10 grand, it's still an unbelievable bargain. Let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to notice over a traditional Seamaster is there's no date on this thing, which is pretty sweet considering most Seamasters, if not all of them, have a date. So this is a nice change. And you still get the coaxial movement, which is master chronometer certified, which we're going to talk about in a second, is absolutely unbelievable, plus or minus 3 seconds a day, which is almost better than quartz, which is pretty hard to believe. Something else you're going to notice is how light this watch actually is, especially if you get it on the NATO strap. It's like a feather, an absolute feather, and that's because the entire watch is made out of titanium. Very hard material to work with and shape. It also is pretty scratch resistant. Unfortunately, mine has some scratching here, which I'll get into in a quick second, but a pretty well built watch. Now, the specs on this are almost identical. They are identical to a regular Seamaster in terms of timekeeping and all that, so I'm not going to get into that. But something else that separates this is you actually get this domed sapphire crystal that you don't get on the traditional Seamaster. And it's actually thinner, believe it or not, than a traditional Seamaster. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'll put them up on the screen. So that's pretty awesome. And you know, thinking about it now, you could pick one of these up for probably about 6 grand, 6,500 used. And again, it's titanium. It doesn't scratch that easily. Ignore where my thumb is. We'll get into that. But, you know, this thing is an absolute bargain. And it's not going to be like that for long, because once the new bond is announced and they start working on that, they are going to discontinue this watch. This is not a limited edition watch, but it is limited production. Now, I want to get into why this watch really means a lot to me, other than my wife purchasing this for me for our engagement about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Yeah, about a year and a half ago. But anyway, 2 months ago, on June 6, 2023, I was actually in a pretty bad car accident. I shouldn't say car accident, but I was hit by a car while crossing the street. The guy wasn't paying attention. He was on his cell phone, and I had the walk sign, so I had the right of way, of course. And, you know, you never think you're going to get hit. But anyway, this watch took a direct hit by a car. I'm okay, by the way, just throwing it out there. But so I actually flew about 15 feet, and the watch slid on the ground with me, which is why it's not on the Milanese bracelet, which I'll show you in a second. But this is where the watch made impact with the ground. I mean, if this was a steel watch, it would be done. It would be absolutely toast. This is the only damage to the watch case, and the crown had some damage, but I already had it repaired. The only physical damage was here and on the bracelet. And if you look at my wrist here, I'm wearing another Omega, but if you look at my wrist, you could see some residual scarring from where I slid and where the Milanese bracelet kind of scratched me up a bit. But I mean, this watch, for it to be able to take a direct hit from a moving vehicle going about 20-ish miles an hour, survive that, and survive it literally sliding on the pavement about 15 to 20 feet, is just remarkable. What's even more remarkable is when I took this watch to Omega to have it serviced, they were kind enough to service it for me free of charge. They didn't replace any of the damaged parts, but they, you know, made sure it was running well and did a full service. They told me that even after the impact, the watch was still running at plus or minus 1 second a day. That is ridiculous. I mean, that is unbelievable. This watch took a full impact and it survived, which just truly makes it live up to the Bond name. And that's why this watch is just so unbelievable. Now, I'll never sell this watch. My wife got this for me, as I said before, but even though I already wasn't going to sell this watch, I mean, it just cements in my mind how unbelievable this thing is. And now I want to show you in here the Milanese bracelet. Keep in mind, this bracelet literally slid on the ground about 15 to 20 feet. And the only damage is here. So you could see up close a lot of scratching. And then it's almost like the pavement kind of filed it down just a touch. And unfortunately, due to the construction of this bracelet, it cannot be fixed. His insurance is going to have to cover that, but I won't get into the legal standpoint. I just want to get into how unreal this watch is. And you can see here, kind of got a little jacked up. But again, if this had been steel, I mean, you could barely even see where I slid, but if this had been steel, it would have been game over. There wouldn't even be talking about the watch. The watch would be gone. And I just am so amazed by this watch that I wanted to come out of my retirement of making videos and put this one out, because it just truly is an unbelievable watch. Now, let's talk about this box right here and the NATO strap. I bought the NATO strap because Omega wanted over $2,000 to replace the bracelet, which I am going to do once his insurance pays for it, but I'm not going to come out of pocket for that. I just don't really feel like it, especially with all the medical bills I've been hit with already. So anyway, I bought this in NATO, and it came in one of these, which is cool. It wasn't too expensive, so I could still wear it, which is great now that it's serviced. And then they gave it back to me in this new style travel box, which is really cool. If you open it, you can see right here, this is what it was running at, which is just so cool. And then I keep my Seamaster bracelet in there. We'll make a video on that soon. The end links for the Seamaster are in here as well. Let me take those out. But this is what you get when you service your watch. This is how they give it back to you. And it just goes to show, Omega, they really care. I mean, they didn't have to service this watch for me. They didn't have to. I got hit by a car. The watch broke, not on its own. It didn't even break, but it got damaged not on its own. It just goes to show, if you really have a relationship with your AD, with your boutique, they will go out of their way for you. Yes, you do pay more by going direct to Omega, but sometimes it's worth it. And, you know, that's something I really want to stress. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, I really do appreciate it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I'm gonna make a video in the next week or two, I promise, on this baby right here. This watch has an incredible story. Here's the band for it. It's literally brand spanking new. Unbelievable 1994 861 movement. But until next time, have a good one. Peace.